the skills that I teach are mostly intended to give you just a few more tools in your toolbox, not to add to your day, not to add 30 minutes you have to sit and calm yourself down. But by sitting with me and practicing, you'll get some of those skills, and I hope you'll practice them so that the next time the shit might hit the fan for you, you might think, wait a minute, pause, take a deep breath, settle myself down. So welcome. I'd like to start us out by just doing what you came here for. So have a seat. Welcome to ReSet, and I'm Suni. Have a seat and settle into your comfortable position, whether you're in a chair or on the floor or lying down, whatever works for you. But take a deep breath in, pause, and then let that air back out. Beginning meditation by focusing on the breath is just a wonderful habit to get into. Breathing in and breathing out. When you begin breathing more deeply and slowly, you're signaling your central nervous system that everything's okay. Imagine what happens when something happens that's a stressor for you. We start breathing more rapidly and shallow, and that's a signal to your central nervous system that something's wrong. And so it tenses your muscles and it puts your nervous system on high alert. Your thought processes are very focused. You can't see the big picture anymore. Stress hormones flood your body, pulse goes up, respiration is, like I said, shallow. And so when you're trying to calm yourself, if I approach my brain and say, you know what, I've just got to calm down, it isn't as effective. So this deep breathing is so important because what it does is it tells your central nervous system we're in a safe place. And the nervous system then sets the rest of the body up. It calms you. It releases muscle tension. It stops the flow of stress hormones. It allows you to open your thinking into a bigger picture. It slows pulse, lowers blood pressure. So breathe. It's so good for you. So as we begin, just breathe in deeply, pause, and let the air back out. Lean a little left and right, forward and backward, just enough that you can catch yourself and find a nice balanced position. Same with your neck. Your neck gets so tired during the day because your head's like this bowling ball and it's on top of a popsicle stick. So moving ear towards shoulder, ear towards the other shoulder, chin towards your shoulder, chin towards the other shoulder. Lifting the chin, lowering the chin, and then settle into a nice kind of central position, breathing in and breathing out. Our goal in meditation is simply to become aware of what our mind is doing. And with just a little bit of practice, you begin to be able to direct what that mind is wanting to do. So I'm asking you as we begin to just keep your attention on the breath, how the air feels flowing in through your nose, the expansion of chest and belly, and when you let the air back out, that release, that relaxing feeling of letting go. So for a few breaths, for a minute or so here, just focus on your breath. Breathing in a little more deeply than you usually do, if that's comfortable for you. Expanding chest and belly, and then when you let the air back out, just let go. Not just of the air, but let go of things you don't need, worries of the moment. Breathing in and breathing out. If you're going to be consciously thinking of anything, be aware of the fact that this deep breath is helping you. It is calming you without you having to consciously try to do that. So this breath is a friend. And this breath is one of the simple tools that I hope to make you so familiar with that you think to use it a lot. Pausing a couple times during the day for 3 or 4 or even 5 deep breaths can energize you and calm you. It also oxygenates your body, and it calls in this calming response. So whether things are going too busy or too slow, it can energize or calm you. So breathing is your first simple tool of meditation. And as we're seated and we're breathing, surely by now your mind has wandered. Your job here as the meditator is to just notice, I'm worrying again. My mind did wander off. And if you catch that your mind has wandered, you win. You've got it. That's one of the keys to all of this. Watching what our mind is doing. When I say watching, I'm asking you to take a role of the observer or maybe a reporter. You're not engaging with your mind as much as stepping back and just watching what it's doing. I've used this analogy a lot, so if you've meditated with me a lot, I know you've heard these things before, but if I say them enough, you'll remember them. So a reporter, if they're reporting on some calamity, the reporter is simply there to tell you the facts. This is what happened. This is what I see. This is what I've been told. So as a reporter of your mind, of your thoughts, you're just noticing what your brain is doing. You're not judging it. You're not, if your mind is headed out to worry or it's begun to worry, you don't have to throw yourself in the pit of worry. As a reporter, you step back. I'm worrying again. And then just call your mind back to this moment. This isn't the time for worry. This is time to practice calm. So paying attention to what our mind is doing, never with the thought of controlling it, like not thinking, but just noticing what it's doing and then calling it back to this practice of the moment, which is simply to sit and breathe. If you can make an awareness of the breath enough of a habit to yourself, you will find when you pause to take a deep breath and let that air back out, you will calm down automatically. So it almost becomes a go-to thing. If you need to calm down or if you need energy, but also if it just becomes a habit, breathing deeply brings oxygen into your body and settles you down. If you have trouble with the mind wandering too much, sometimes it helps to add a word in your head or out loud if you're alone and you want to do that. So some teachers will suggest that we say in our heads in as we breathe in and out as we breathe out. In and out. In and out. Sometimes I find it's more helpful to me but we're all different. If I say a word that might be something I need, like calm, I'm breathing in calm, and on the exhale I might just let go. I might breathe in peace, and on the exhale I might remind myself that everything's okay. Peace on the inhale. I'm okay on the exhale. You might breathe in patience, but again, you're going to breathe it in like an observer. You're not going to breathe in, patience, please. Just breathe in patience. Maybe breathe out love. The world can always use more of that. So practice for a few minutes and think of words that might calm you. You're in charge of this practice. If I try to fit you into my mold of what calming practices are, you're never going to reap the benefits and you're never going to look forward to practicing. So take a few minutes, breathing in and breathing out, keeping your mind on the breath. Try out some words. These words become like a mantra to you. And a mantra, if you're not familiar with the word, is a phrase that's used in Buddhist tradition when they teach meditation. And often it's a phrase in Sanskrit. I've never really resonated with those mantras because they're not my first language. Om Namah Shivaya is beautiful, but it doesn't necessarily calm me down. So think what does calm you. Breathing in, breathing out, trying out some calming words. And just notice when your mind wanders off, drawing it back to the moment. And if one word's not working, try another. Maybe the name of your pet might be calming. I worked with a friend once and she just couldn't get meditation until we talked about her dog, who she loved probably more than most anyone in the world. And she called the dog Tabby. McTavish was his name. And she settled on Tabby and love. Tabby and love. And she had found the combination that worked for her. So if your eyes were closed, gently let them open again. So did you find some words that worked? I hope so. I don't always use a mantra when I meditate, but sometimes when I'm really in the, I always say the shit storm or something, but I was like, you know what I mean? When things really get tight, a word sometimes really helps me, and usually it's just calm, you're okay. Calm, you're okay. Sometimes it's just, I'm okay. I'm okay. I got this. I'm okay. If the idea of the mantra is something that resonates with you, and even if you're not a journaler, grab a piece of paper when we're done tonight, jot down some ideas that worked for you. Or maybe later, think about it. Some words that are calming. Maybe you and your family or you and your kids might sit down and discuss words that might calm them down. Younger people, especially even little ones, so surprised how they love these sorts of practices. And because they also face stress in this world and they aren't taught calming skills generally in school, sharing these practices with your partner or your family can be really helpful. So write those things down while you're thinking about them and stick that little piece of paper somewhere. I keep one by my computer just to remind me if I start getting agitated, to breathe, and some words that make me feel better. So the topic tonight is I have no idea. I'm at my office, so you're seeing a different environment. I'm going to try to show you a little bit of the office, but this is going to be very not professional. But I wanted you to see something. Now, what's beside me here is a whole bunch of rocks. There's some crystal bowls down there, and I'm just going to make you dizzy. But I work with people here in the office one-on-one when calming is a challenge for them. And everybody does this differently. But for me, I keep a lot of nature's elements around to help calm and heal people. I teach meditation, but I'm also an energy healer. I work with sound therapy. I'm a wellness coach, so I do a lot of that stuff. But for me, the things that are really grounding and helpful, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a rock. It's a really pretty rock. So I've got different rocks, crystals and stuff like that here. Not to say you have to go get this stuff, but here's some of my favorite rocks. This one I found on the beach in Upper Michigan on Lake Superior. Several of these rocks came from there. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, like a mantra, sometimes elements of nature can be very calming to us. So, the day I found this rock, it was a great day. Oh my God, it was such a good trip. I had so much fun. So when I touch this thing, it has an energy, just like I have energy and you have energy. It has energy. And when I hold it in my hand, it reminds me of how I felt that day. So, another tool we can use in calming ourselves beyond meditation practice is things from nature. It's been proven, a lot of research has been done, that touching the earth, the ground, the dirt is very calming and healthy for you. There's microbes and energy and all kinds of goodness in the soil. So if you never get outside and you're feeling stress, get outside. If you think of outside as like, oh, that place I hate, I get it. I have some friends who are like that. Then bring a piece of nature with you. If a stone like this isn't your jam, you can easily buy all nice, shiny, pretty stones, smooth stones. There was a time, I don't know, when worry stones came out, 70s, 80s, who knows when that was. But you are encouraged to keep a nice, smooth stone that felt good in your pocket and to rub that, and it can be calming. So sometimes when we're feeling stress, the trick is to divert ourselves. In the practice we did earlier, I explained to you that if you step back from your mind and don't throw yourself into the worry, you can kind of watch your mind and manage it. If you watched your mind going to worry and you kind of just threw yourself into it, then you're gone. Then you're going to lose a lot of time worrying about things because your brain will just take you away. In the same vein, if you're trying to change your life, recovery from drugs and alcohol, recovery from trauma, keeping your balance in a changing world, trying not to get lost in fear, and honestly, please, in these times, don't give in to the fears. What's going on in the world right now is wonderful. It feels awful. I get it. But we are shifting. You and I, as individual beings, are shifting. The world is changing. The planet is evolving. And we're shifting to a place where, rather than power and money as much, compassion, love, empathy are going to come back as the real power in our world. But the idea of not allowing yourself to get swept away by your mind, if you're trying not to do something, let's say you gave up drinking and you're having a stressful day. Well, depending on how long you relied on alcohol to numb your feelings, it might be really tempting to do that again. And when your mind wanders to that thing, if you've learned to be the observer and say, oh, there I go, you can draw it back and then do something positive to change your attention, to change your focus. If you just let your mind wander off into that addiction or replaying that trauma or worrying and being absorbed in fear, then you lose a lot of time and you lose your joy in life. If you can watch where your mind's going, it's going to think about the drink or the drugs or the trauma or the fear. Draw it back, take a deep breath. And I use tactile things, stones. I always have stones in my pocket, don't you? So keeping something from nature can pull your attention back into something that's more positive. Like I can remember when I found this. This bowl that I use at the beginning and the end of meditation, this bowl's been with me for a long time. When I hear this sound, it calms me because it means something to me. This bowl and I have been together for more than 30 years. I've played it a lot, so when I hear this sound, it calms me. The other day I was having a bad moment and I went in, laid down on my bed, I put this bowl on my chest and I bonged it. And that sound was a good diversion. So if something holding an object isn't going to do it, think of a sound that you like. A bell, wind chimes, I don't know. We're all so different. With this bowl, I hit it, and then I listen to the sound fade away. I keep my attention on the sound, just like you might try to keep your attention on the breath. It's still ringing. I can still hear it. So whatever thought my mind was wandering off to, this is a diversion. So today's idea is simply consider sound, things from nature, things in your environment, getting outside in the fresh air and the sunshine as diversionary tactics. They could serve the same sort of purpose like taking a deep breath does in meditation. Because we're using meditation during a time of great change. And if I only say, well, sit down and breathe. And what if you're driving the car? Maybe, or what if you're at the office? Maybe you feel like you can't. But if you give yourself another tool, like this guy is always in my pocket, or a crystal that might sit on your desk at work by your computer, and you might lay your hand over it and feel the energy. Give yourself those tools to help comfort yourself. So we've got a few minutes. I'm going to hit the bell. I want you to close your eyes. Just listen to this sound. Breathing in and breathing out. When your mind starts to wander, call it back to the now. Call it back to the breath. Call it back to this sound. Breathing in, breathing out. Allowing the sound or your breath or your mantra to keep your attention in this moment. Because when your mind is in this moment, you can really enjoy these moments of your life. When your mind is lost in worry, you're missing your life. And so we'll use this as our final note. So if your eyes were closed, allow them to gently open again. So the message today is, you don't need to sit down to meditate. You just need to take a deep breath. You need to familiarize yourself with some words that calm you, and then use them when you need to. If being outdoors is possible, take yourself outdoors to distract your mind from worry or obsessive thoughts. If a happy stone makes you feel better, keep it in your pocket. And when you start to feel anxious, train yourself that I know what to do. Grab something that calms you. You're in charge. I can't help you when you're having a bad day. So these are some tools that I use. I hope they'll help you. Thank you for joining me today. Don't let worry take you away from this really exciting, transformative time in our world. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back Thursday at noon, and next week I'll be back at 6:30 on Tuesday again. So until then, breathe, stay calm, use your tools, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.